Good evening. Welcome to the Highway Hills Management Meeting as of July 28th, 2020. JJ Jeffers is excused tonight. He is traveling for family. So, good evening. We have Rex Everly, Randy Swatnow, Steve Kunda, and Jim Krieger, myself, Jim Sigafus, present tonight. So we got a lot to cover. We're going to dive right in. Randy, you want to cover the numbers?
Sure. Capital fund total $206,306. Depreciation fund total $185,048. Delinquencies as of 5/15 was $19,748. As of 6/15, they were $19,202. Oh my, I don't have this month. I apologize for that. I don't have this month, but they did go down again. They actually went down $1,500. They were $1,700 and some. Road delinquencies went up because of the late fees, and that went up to $1,780. Special assessment, Popular Bank, we have $101,471. Dam repair checking, there's $65,554 for a total of $167,025.
Okay, since it's the second meeting of the month, I didn't realize Randy had printed them, so everyone should have, is it an open meeting? It doesn't bother me if he's got a mask.
Oh, you're wearing a mask, you're good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's full chair.
Dave, you can grab the chair back here.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys.
I did put in I printed a color version of the fund, the 2020 funds. So we've caught up all 2019 funds. We're into 2020, so you can see we're at 247, 823. On the back side, I think Penny provided it too in your packet. The transfer payments. So, we have been generating cash, which is a good thing to keep building us in the right direction. So in July, we did generate $62,802 in cash that we were able to put toward these funds. So I think that's great. We've just got a lot more work to do. So one of the things that we're going to go through tonight, which I just realized I didn't print. Did you print out a capital or depreciation listing?
You talking about this?
No, the equipment depreciation list here.
Yes, I've got it. Oh, you don't have a copy of it? Okay.
So, I mean, that's something that we need to go through. Do you have a copy too?
No. Yeah, I can make one real quick.
There's a significant amount of items that we need to purchase in the next 15 years. If we spend a lot of time going through that, we're going to go through that again tonight. But that emphasizes the need for additional capital, which we'll talk about later. But equipment is expensive. We delayed pretty much purchasing anything in 2020, 2021. We're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to start replacing some equipment, or we're going to have a major problem on our hands. So I did want to share that with you. Also, I put a copy of the June 2020 year-to-date operating analysis in front of you. We actually are running ahead of budget by about $31,000 on our revenue side, which there's some pluses and minuses in the budget. Thank you. Pluses and minuses in the budget on the expense side, but we're actually running about $36,000 ahead of budget on net income, which is why we're generating cash. Most of the increase is our new member fee is running 22 grand ahead of budget. That's just the piece that we keep for operating, and our assessments are running about 10,000 above, 11,000 above budget. I think that's just some new members buying some lots and people adding some additional assessments for other lots. So I encourage you to look that over, and if you have any questions, we do make this available on the club's website. as soon as Melissa gets them, I think she puts them on there. So they encourage anyone to ask questions if you need, if you don't understand that. So
One small statement to your predecessor. Jim Kirk, if you're watching tonight, the new member fee is still ahead of where it was for previous. I want that duly noted.
duly noted. We always budgeted a little conservative just for the fact of we don't know. Yeah, I know, we don't know where we're gonna end up, but it's always good to see it a little bit. He's always on my side of, let's budget that a conservative number, so that's a little focus, Jim Kurt out there.
Yeah.
Randy, you wanna talk about, mosquito testing? Do you want a copy of what we're talking about? Here, I got some copies.
Take one right there, sorry.
Okay, we got extra copies.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
you wanna talk
well,
about user notes?
Yeah, they were in, let's see, last Monday, so I stopped down there because I had emailed her, Joanne from Hopkins County, and said, hey, you know where are we with West Nile virus? And she says, well, the testing hasn't come back yet, but anytime there's a positive test, they'll get back with you right away. And she says, so far, we have had no evidence of West Nile virus in all of Hopkins County, which was a good thing. So they're continuing to test, and we'll continue to find out what's going on. And we got plenty of mosquitoes, but no West Nile as of yet, so that's great.
That was a report for all of hockey, not just here.
Yeah, that was a report for all of hockey, yes.
Good deal. Geez, good to hear something going in their favor.
Out of office.
The next one, I'll be out Thursday and Friday. I'm taking a couple personal days, so I will not be here those 2 days. So if you got business you want me to take care of, let me know tomorrow. Also, we hired a new guard. He started this morning. Really good guy. He does have some security experience. He's floated around a little bit. He worked for some security companies. He didn't care for them because he had office was one place and he worked someplace else, and he just didn't he liked the work, but he didn't care for the people he was working for. So he started here. He said this position sounds perfect for him. He'll be working the shift that was vacated by Hunter. Thank you. Sorry.
What time, what is that second?
It's night shift. Night shift. This is what he'll be working when he gets done with his training. We do a 3-week training period, 2 with Randall every day on day shift, 2 with Randall, then 1 on the shift with the experienced guard that he's assigned to.
I'm sorry, what was his name?
Heath Welliver, Welliver. Nice guy.
I won't remember past, let's write it down, but when I see him the next couple of days, at least I can call him.
Now that we're back to full strength, are we gonna be able to get Lake Patrol
Yeah,
back?
well, we still got a part-timer we gotta get, so we'll do our best to get
Some Lake Patrol.
some lake patrol out there. We did have no lake patrol over the weekend because we had 2 guards call off. 1 on each day, so unfortunately we weren't able to get anybody out there at all. Let's see.
I guess a point I'll make, because I was just a good citizen member, not representing his management, but I guess if you see someone that may be doing something wrong on the lake, if you can do so safely and approach them, that they're stop putting people on skis or tubes, and maybe just ask them if they understand they should be going in which direction. I talked to a gentleman that had some kids on tubes. It was short term, doing circles in the middle of the lake, and he stopped to unload some, and I just pulled up beside him. We just had a conversation. It's dangerous doing that. Speedboat, the front end up on plane like it was. Jet ski or something come around, you'd probably never see it if you really ended something bad. So,
Well, anytime you see
people
anything
can
like,
politely go to
Sure,
those people
sure.
and with a helping hand say,
yeah,
you're not doing something safe, we'd just like you to.
yeah, and I appreciate that, and also, you can still call security. I mean, security will run out there, if there's an incident. And so, yeah, you're more than welcome to do that if you see something.
I think all
going
members
on.
should know that.
But what you did was
There's nothing wrong with-
perfect.
There's nothing wrong with members
No.
talking to other people in a friendly
Absolutely.
manner.
Absolutely.
Could save somebody's life, so.
The 6th item, I was asked to look to see how much we had spent on a roads account for this year.
This is for you, Rex.
Thank you.
This is for Rex.
Well, it's for me too. I want to know, like, keep track where we're at.
We have two different accounts. We've got the roads account, we've got chip and seal account. The roads account, year to date, we spent $67,900, well, almost $68,000. What that entails is crushed asphalt, sand, limestone, cold mix, and plus labor.
Is that the chip and seal?
No, this is the roads.
That's what gets put the 10% in from the new
Yes.
member fees?
Yes.
So what's remaining in that account?
I don't know what we budgeted for in that account. I'll have to check on that.
It's a combination, Jim. It's operating and the money from the two.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, we didn't budget, we just budgeted 50% into operations, but
yeah.
I don't know how much is in that account.
I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
And then chip and seal, we hadn't spent anything on chip and seal up until this month. So, we do have $180.92 in labor. And I went through and checked the bills. We have spent, looks like 19 loads of asphalt, plus the labor. Actually, labor is up to 204 on the recent, of $9,134. Now, Rick and I talked about this. His figures, he thought we had purchased 28 loads of asphalt for a figure of approximately $11,760, but I don't have those receipts yet. So that's kind of where we are with the chip and seal. Of course, I don't have a remainder either because I was just taking it from the receipts or the bills that we have in. We haven't paid them yet.
Well, we should have collected 170-ish.
I think it's 165 is what I think I saw.
Okay, your June year-to-date says 147.
Okay.
Obviously, you have a July.
July, yeah.
And nevertheless, that's the amount.
Yeah.
All right, we just want to know every meeting, like,
Yes.
what we spent,
Yeah,
what we got
absolutely.
left to spend, so
Yeah.
we wanted to carry over some to next year.
Yeah, just keep in mind that I haven't got July's numbers yet because we don't pay till about the 10th or the end of the month of the 10th, so I won't have that,
But you have a cost, and Rick is ordering the loads, knows what the loads are, so
Right.
maybe I just need to make sure we check with him.
And that's what I
Yeah,
did.
billing could be delayed, but
Yeah.
Just don't want to
We
get
don't
to
wanna
a
mess
point
it
where
up.
we overspend
Right.
on asphalt or, because we've got the chip and seal reserve back and we got the asphalt. And then we'll make sure, and we want to carry some money over as planned, so,
Right.
you can bring that. So I just want to let, I've been driving around a little bit too, and the guys are doing a great job on putting that, hot patch down. It's super smooth, it's in the right spots to try to even it out. So let Rick and his team know they're doing a good job on it. I think they're doing a great job on that.
Yeah.
That's that part of the road repairs. So.
This next thing here, September billing statements. Ballot issue number 2. It says effective September 1st, and we billed for September today. So they won't be billed the new assessment till October. So I just, want to put that out there.
That's perfectly correct.
Yeah.
However, I hope it's the fee complete.
Yeah.
We're paying the extra.
This next item, discussion item, Randall came to me and you folks that, let's see, Jim, I guess you're the only one that lives on the lake here. JJ may be able to see what's going on. Weekends, especially holiday weekends, the lake is really crowded. They couldn't even get back in the beach cove when they were security out on July 4th, or the July weekend, they couldn't even get to the beach cove.
On the boat.
Yeah. And so if there had been an emergency, there might have been a problem. So I think going forward in the future, we need to realize that. And I know we're a lakes community, but boy, if we have an accident out there with a problem and ODNR comes and sees all these boats in there, we may run into issues.
So I hate to post another sign that if they wore the sign to leave 20 foot off, you know, the level of the docks or the end of the docks into the lake or something, so there is passage completely around the outside. Moving across, if we could get
Most
those
people do. I mean, most of the time you can do people do a circle. You can get clear up to Kevin Fleeman's dock. Most of the time do a circle. I've never seen where you couldn't get clear to the beach cove. I'm sure people could have moved pretty quickly. But I think there is an issue there with the Lake of the Four Seasons that the people know we don't have lake patrol right now, and I'm seeing boats coming in, getting dumped in, and jet skis in particular, with no lot numbers and no stickers. And so what I would like to see is if security's both there and they see a boat or a jet ski going up there, just run up and do a quick check, and we can, you know, I think we can keep some unnecessary non-members or non-registered boats off the lake.
Yeah.
That would help to start.
And we've got pretty well good control over those at the docks because they check the docks weekly.
Yeah, but I think people are bringing them in.
Yeah, I understand.
trailer them in.
You know, typically when Roger's out there, he's checking them,
Right.
checking them like
Right.
religiously,
Right.
but when he's not out there, they know.
So during the day, we have 2 on or 3 as a normal shift for the weekend? I know it's 3 through the week, is it just 2 on the weekend?
No, just 2 through the week. Yeah, that's all we have.
Okay.
2 per shift.
Okay, there was 3 there today because we have 1 trip. Never mind.
Right. Right.
The next time it'll be a real concern is August 29th is the party in the Cove, where they're having a band down by John Blankenship, so that area will be extremely crowded.
Well, we should be pretty well covered. Yeah.
We've got to find a way to have lake patrol, so
Right.
keep people under control, keep people at no wake, and that a lot of people in the water, no wake, you know, really enforced on that end of the north end of the lake, and make sure it's members only boats.
Yep.
I should be able to follow up on
No, we can keep an eye on your lot too.
that. I don't believe you have to worry about detail. I'm a rule follower. There were 2 years ago when this concert was there, you would walk from one side of the lake to the other without stepping in the water. Outside the water.
This next item here is depreciation, which I'm sure Jim's gonna talk about. I just want to throw a couple things in there. Number one, Rick and I sat down and looked at this today. Jim, if you'll see on that copy that I made for you, we changed some pricing, going out to 2024, nothing early. But we did, make there's just, I think, 3 changes, and then the one down there, the Boar Hill controller. I don't know if under 2021, that was already replaced. And so I didn't think that needed to be in there for 2021. On down below there, see where it's $5,500 sitting out there by itself.
It just didn't, for some reason it put itself there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's over in 2025 too, so.
Yes, I saw that, but I didn't know if that was, if it was documented down there on the total, which it might have been.
So
But the one,
$500, it's rounding here in this.
right, yeah, that's not a big problem. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I'll fix that, I'll update these. What does it say, replaced?
Replaced, that was the suppression system was replaced during the fire, 2016.
So it can be gone, or is it new?
It's new.
What, okay, can you give me some information on like what year?
2016 is when that was replaced. Cost-wise, I'll have to get you a cost.
Okay, yeah.
A couple other things that I want to bring up as far as that's concerned is golf course irrigation. It's not on here at all, and at some point we're probably going to have to look at replacing that line that goes all the way from the lake up to the pump house, which is going to be pretty expensive. Right now, that's running on top of the ground. Some members' property down there, and so that's going to be pretty expensive because we're probably going to have to bore that from all the way down through there. So that's something we need, probably ought to add at some point.
Okay. So, I know Rex, you probably have never seen this before. Steve, have you seen this document. So what we try to do is just, I mean, obviously just putting everything in years and trying to space them out. And I go through some of the later years after I push everything out and look at it and say, it's not 300,000, it's not gonna work. But I'd like to get this out to the membership so they can see the analysis that not only this group does, Randy and Rick go through this. It helps us prioritize like what we're gonna spend. So next year we have to buy some equipment. I mean, we pushed it out this year to get our depreciation up, but you know, we got mowers falling apart, they become unsafe, trucks become unsafe. So it's just a balancing act to try to space this out enough so we continue to build our reserves, but also, you know, keep our employees in safe equipment. And at some point, it just becomes unnecessary, you know, a huge burden to try to, you know, fix and maintain this stuff. So, our guys spend most of the time working and stuff, not actually doing anything.
It kills morale, you can't have that.
Yeah. So, you know, we dodged a year. I think we bought just a Boreal gate controller because we needed to, and that was pretty much all we bought out of the depreciation fund. So, I encourage you guys to look at it. If you don't agree with the priority, you know, let me know. But Randy and Rick have both looked at this to help us prioritize our spends. Obviously, when we buy stuff, appreciate if everybody could help. You know, Paul Heinberg was on this committee. He was huge about just driving around trying to find best prices, and you find this best deal on a mower or whatever it was. But we all pick up phone call, make a phone call, and try to find the best equipment. So not so easy in a Jacobson fairway mower, but a zero turn or a boat motor or a Kawasaki mule or something like that stuff, we can all help out a little bit. We gotta make sure we get our best deals. So.
I had a good discussion with Rick, and he's on board with it. At first, he thought we were dumping all this on top of him, and I said, no. And he brought up the same as you did, that Paul always helped me. And I said, well, I know it'll always be one. I said, I committed myself. You just did there also. I said, it will definitely help you price this stuff out and look for it, because a half a day lost in work on our facilities is lost.
Right.
We can research that stuff and things and everything else too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm becoming a regular boat mechanic, so I can research boat motors.
You know what kind not to get if you put yours up for sale.
We're not buying you. I've been pretty good this year, but I'm gotten good at work. But yeah, I mean, I think we all have a little bit of knowledge on boats, and we can help make recommendations to Rick and his team to try to buy that stuff. I think we all know where to get a Kawasaki mule. At a good price, but I don't, you know, Jacobson fairway mower, we're kind of at the mercy of our vendors that carry that kind of stuff and find the best price and hopefully find a really good used one. But you know, sometimes a new one makes more sense too if you get the warranty and no issues. So,
Randy, a question on the 3 AEDs. Did we buy some, or is this just listing the 3 that we leased?
On the what?
AEDs.
We bought them, yeah.
Okay, so we own them, but we just pay to have them come in and service.
didn't we buy some
Yeah.
new ones, or
No,
are they really that 12 years old?
yeah. We've had them for quite some time, yeah. And they still sell that exact model too. Remember I priced that out for us there?
Yeah, when we run
A year ago, they were running like $1,200 a piece or something like that.
There's not a lot of technology change and the price has come down. So I was just wondering, I didn't know that we had bought them because I see the fee that we're paying.
Yeah, well, he gives us pads and that type of thing, yeah.
For reference, the 2015 Tacoma is the black security truck.
Right.
We typically been trading them in. We decided to keep that one as a spare. So we've got a 17 and 15. And at some point, we'll have to do something with the 15 and get a new one. But we're trying to push that off for a couple of years.
Yeah, they drive 60 to 70,000 miles a year. So you really have to think about having a new one every 3 years.
3 years, or where?
We early on when I got involved in this, we used really bad. We pushed our guys to drive bad stuff. We stopped that. So the Tacomas have been good to us.
Yeah. Jim, I do have a price on that suppression system.
Okay.
84.41, what we paid for that, in the kitchen. Don't you have a lot of life in it? Oh, yeah, well, I mean, the one we had was fine, except the fire.
And then we
So-
put a brand new.
Probably 10 years.
System, yeah.
I'll put a 10-year life to it.
Yeah, it was,
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't seem so bad.
it was harder of the Great Fire of 60.
So I'll make some updates to this. I'll send it back out to the committee and Randy. Once it's final, I would like to put a PDF out on the website for members to access to see what we're talking about, because I'm gonna talk about this in my video presentation that I'm trying to do this week or something, so that people, and I want people to go out, pull this information and look at it for themselves and see what we're trying to deal with when we talk about trying to get our funds to where they need to be. Any questions on the listing?
Great.
No, I know this is difficult, but good job.
I think it's really illuminating.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this stuff and, buying these things and the whole bit. People look at us with glassy eyes, but if you look at something like this where you see where we've actually identified every piece of equipment, when we want to replace it, And of course, I make tough decisions, but I think Jim's done a great job with it. Jeff Walker originally started before him. I think it's really good for people to see.
Yeah, we try to look at the list twice a year to keep it up to date. I don't want everyone to be in a situation where we can't plow roads, or we can't clear roads after a storm because our backhoes are broke. We can't take care of our roads, can't take care of our ditches, so, and our employees need to have safe equipment to drive and use this mower, so, it's important to manage to do that.
I heard Rex wants to drive the old distributor truck.
Nope. You wanna have
Maybe to the auction
a
house.
throwback moment? If we get that far.
Yeah.
Randy, Forest Hill Gate.
Well, let's go back to the one before that.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
Lodge Underground Service Connection Prep. Basically what this is when they do the underground, which is supposed to be next month, that we are going to they'll run underground to the lodge as well. So it'll be our responsibility to put in the service, and that service is not going to be cheap.
I
It's
think
an underground service to attach to the front.
I think they told us that. Now, will they do any of it, or do we have to do the trenching and the work on the line, or what do they provide, and what's it gonna cost?
Well, they'll provide the line, they'll provide the trenching up to the box, which is going to be on the other side of the road where the other
By the
transformers are. Yeah, and then we'll have to go from there under the road to the service panel on the building. So it's actually going to be pretty expensive since it's a three-phase system. So we're going to have to think about that.
Okay.
Whether we do it, we probably won't be able to do that. We'll probably have to hire that out.
Can we get some pricing so we know what it's gonna cost?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do to eliminate overhead lines best you can, but,
Oh, yeah,
I need to know how much that is, because that's probably gonna come out of the capital fund.
yeah. Okay.
But any elimination of overhead lines is a blessing in this community.
And what's the time frame on that?
Well, it's the latest version. The latest version is
Well, of course,
September. The latest version is September. However, it's hard to say when they're gonna make the switch over. I mean, they've gotta do the trenching and they've gotta lay the line. And then you're probably looking at next year, probably before they even make the switch over between overhead to underground.
No, I thought they were gonna bring it all the way to the building. They're not going to do that?
I don't think they are here.
Okay.
I think they're just going to go to the transformer here. They are for members, but I don't know that they're gonna do that for us.
I think we ought to
But
have.
we talked, we had a meeting with them, and we talked about that, the conduit that was under the road now, and wanted to know if we can still use that conduit, but that's a big steel conduit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll be able to do that or not.
Okay.
So,
Well, let's ask.
yeah, that's something we'll have to
Because
check on.
they were sort of,
Yeah,
we were up in that meeting and they were sort of like, oh, we're gonna make this so good.
Yeah.
It's good for all of us. We're
Yeah.
gonna do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think we should
Yeah.
try to advocate for ourselves on that.
Generally, yeah, you would think they would run it up, because the meter base and everything's on the building, it's not out.
That's correct. And
So
that's,
they run to the
that's
meter
what they
base.
said.
I mean,
Right,
that's,
right. There was a piece of hardware that they wanted us to buy.
Yeah.
Anybody to buy, but they were advertising. They were selling to everybody the idea that they would handle all of that stuff if people wanted to make the commitment to, just to do the meter and the piece on their property.
we
So
have to get somebody to make the connection from
that is correct, yes.
Of course, we'll also have the pool to do, and we'll have the dumpster to do, so.
So the dumpster right there, but I think we ought to push them to try to see how much we can get them to run it underground.
Absolutely, you're right.
Talk the insurance, well, we talked about the Board Hill Gate issue where Torco hit it, and they came in and repaired it, and they did a really, really crappy job. I got not very good response from them, so I contacted our insurance company, and since it's under our $5,000 deductible, they won't do anything about it. I mean, it's sort of like the issue we had when those people drove through the fence down there in front of the guard shack there off of the road. And so,
we're trying to threaten them with an attorney letter?
we could do that. We could
How
do
much is
that.
it, how much is it? It's what, $2,800 to replace that aluminum gate?
Yeah.
I don't know. So we're spending $250 on an attorney letter to,
so. I think,
Hey,
I would argue that you do that.
Well, you've got the other possibility of a
Small claims.
small claim court.
yeah.
You got that possibility too, whether that would do any good or not, I don't know. But I mean, this is actually, I mean, we could have filed charges with the sheriff's department. I don't know if we could still do that or not. I mean, we've got video, we've got,
It's not a bad idea. We've got it on video and they haven't finished restitution.
right,
Well, I mean, I'd maybe call the guy from Turkle around and say, hey, here's where we're not happy. You didn't fix our gate. We want it replaced. We're gonna call the sheriff. We're probably gonna file a civil claim against you for you damaged it, you didn't fix it.
well, in their mind it's fixed.
Yeah, it's not fixed.
Right, not
It
fixed.
was-
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I could, well,
kick it up the line to somebody else and see if they don't, then.
His insurance even, you can just,
Well, I don't know who their insurance company is.
You'll put it over.
your attorney should be able to get that from you. He should have given that to you. Because,
Yeah, he did, well, I'm sure they didn't want to go through their
Sure they
insurance
did.
company, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I guess he doesn't want to work in the hills anymore.
Well, that was another thought.
Yeah.
I mean, we can threaten that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We will declare you persona non grata
yeah,
and don't come back.
yeah.
Well, lessons should be learned too, when these things happen, we need to call the sheriff's department. Which is,
Right, right.
when you're dealing with insurance companies, all you're gonna have are facts one way and the other. If you got a sheriff's report showing the damage, and especially the video footage, they can write that right into it.
Right, right.
It's gotta carry a whole lot more weight.
Yeah, I think,
And the vehicle has to carry liability insurance, so the sheriff
Very
can have
minimum,
no fire.
your car, no, I know, that's,
Yeah.
You're correct.
okay.
good points.
Spectrum fiber.
Spectrum approached me, I didn't approach them about, if we were interested in fiber elsewhere, other than, I mean, they're not very smart when it comes to Iowa Hills. Because they have not a clue of where things are here. And I had went through many emails trying to explain where the clubhouse is, and the service that they have there is very poor. But I just wanted to get a cost. The cost here, I think I sent forwarded an email to you. A monthly cost for upgrade from coax to dedicated fiber like we have here in the office is actually $375 a month. We're already paying $139, so it'd be a net of $235. I called down there to Chris I've called her a couple times, haven't been able to get a hold of her to see if it's really that bad. Because, I mean, when the internet goes down, I mean, and they get slow times, that type of thing, they can't run credit cards. Now, is it worth an additional $235.01 a month? Well,
I never noticed it being that slow, but
yeah. And I asked Spectrum about that, and they says, well, there's a lot of other people using that at the same time. That's what slows it down. I said, okay. And fiber would solve that problem, but at an extra $235, I don't know if it's worth it.
I could talk to Chris, but I've never seen him say anything to me about it being slow and causing problems. But,
Here, you want this then?
yeah, I don't,
Highlight it.
I'm not in favor of spending extra money.
Well, I'm not either. But,
You guys got different.
So our point of sale system, that's running through that?
yeah,
Credit card's gotta go out and authorize,
So-
so it's settled, but
right, yeah.
And I've not seen an issue with that. And then at times, yeah, the bandwidth could be if people are there and connected to it. We could shut that off. If we have a TV that's also coming off the same spectrum line, it's downloading music or sporting events or things like that. So at times, it slows down at our house.
it does, but,
Yeah.
it were $200 and some dollars a month.
Then back to what cost and what benefits most of the people of our community, and that's a pretty small percentage of our total people there too. I mean, if there's a total disruption in service or we can't be in business there, that would be another thing, I think.
Correct.
Yeah, or we were trying to run a lot of security cameras on the golf course or something, but
Yeah.
I can talk to Chris and see if it's really that big an issue, but
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there. That's just something for discussion. This 1936 incident report that I put on here, it's more of a news and notes thing. I could have kept it up there, I guess. When we had the fire at 1936, which is a log home that's been under construction for, I don't know, six years or so. And it caught fire, burnt down. It was just happened to be a night where we only had the one guard on duty. And he was just going nuts because he was trying to let fire trucks in. He had a security, or he had a sheriff's deputy back at the Boreal Gate that let one truck in. And I asked Randall, I said, why didn't he call one of the volunteers? Well, he just did not have time to do that. He could not stop. He was going from one gate to another gate to another gate because they were coming from all directions. This is one of the bad parts, and it just happened to have it. Just having one guard on duty. And we're lucky that there wasn't somebody in the house at the time. The house is a total loss. I don't know if you've been back there to see it.
I'm sure the insurance companies are gonna be looking at it pretty closely too.
Oh, I think they will. I think they will. Because they had just finished and had their inspection, had the house approved for, by the county. And it looks a little strange.
You know where it's at?
The end of the year down there.
When I think I understand that, that he was busy in doing that, I think they really, easily, I could have been to Boreal Gate pretty quick. I come in,
I live really close too.
come in the gate right by the house, obviously I could have got to that one. And, I don't know what we need to do, we've talked about this before, we get that situation with trees down at the beach.
We've got
to take that time to do
we got a
that.
list of volunteers. He was just, he was one right after the other.
It's about 3:30 in the morning.
4:29 or something like
I
that.
would have loved to have them call. But nevertheless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only
live.
yeah.
we talked about giving the
Well, we did,
fire
that was my
departments,
second part.
clickers, but I mean,
And
if we go
several
to,
of them got it, have them.
if we go to RFID gates, we could just make sure all the local fire trucks have RFID, so they can just pull in.
Right.
But, I'm hoping not to have to go back to one security guard at night.
Yeah.
For that very reason, it's not ideal,
Yeah.
in an emergency situation.
We had we hadn't had any other incidents, any other
I knew it
problems.
was gonna happen, it's
Well,
testing how well.
Yeah.
Was that because of somebody called in sick?
No, we didn't have enough.
We were short.
Yeah.
So,
2.5 guards short.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got the money for it, for some of the people.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
I guess we should contact the fire department on a friendly basis though, because I know we sit here and met with them,
Yeah,
and I know we agreed and we gave them openers.
we gave them
Now,
openers,
if the
yeah.
openers are in the wrong hands, they could put lock boxes on their trucks, maybe they should be on the trucks and not on some guy that lives close if this guy's not available when they need to get in.
Well, we had quite a few people wanting openers. So I went to the chiefs and I said, how many openers do you really think you need? And we issued those. It's just that
But for some reason, they didn't have them.
we actually had trucks from Laurelville and we had trucks from Burn Union or Burn Township come. They don't have openers because
So
typically
that's a
they
fault
don't
from
respond. I mean, we gave openers to Marion, Bremen, and Logan. And
You know, maybe, so what do they use for communication as phones? Their personal phones?
as far as I know, yeah.
Well, that's something we need to look at. Should we have a pay-as-you-play phone for $25, one of these tech mobiles that they can carry in the security truck?
We
It's
talked about-
Programmed
yeah.
with our numbers in there.
Yeah, we
So
talked
can
about
push a
doing
button
that
and
before,
dial.
we just never did that.
Well, it brings up serious concerns.
Sure,
Property
absolutely.
can be rebuilt, but yeah, if there'd been a family in there, it could have been a different situation.
Absolutely.
And for
Absolutely.
$25 a month for a track phone from Walmart, it would be.
Well, we've got phones for Rick and Elmer, they're $45. But, so, yeah. But, yeah, that's a thought.
No, I just hate to chalk it off as something we talked about at this meeting tonight, and we didn't
That's a
really
very
think about
good
it
point.
too. We find a risk or an opening or
Yeah.
someplace that we're vulnerable, we need to close something up on this stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a track phone, I'll donate the phone if we can afford the $25 card or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, how often is it gonna happen? It may happen forever in the next year, it could happen, we don't know.
Well, we always run the risk of somebody calling in sick and we have nobody, so we end up going one guard. So there's a risk even when we're fully staffed.
Right.
So it doesn't hurt to have a phone pre-programmed with some emergency contacts.
Absolutely. So,
Um,
put that out there. Put it out there for a vote, I'll get her done.
Gotta make a motion, Steve. That's where we're all looking at you.
Okay, I make a motion that we'll take the track phone that I have, but we'll purchase the monthly card from Walmart.
Yeah, let's try it for a month, see how well it works
That's
and
what it is.
see how well it works in there. You okay with that, Rick?
Yes.
It's a small
That's good.
expense, could have big dividends for us.
Oh, absolutely. And then this is one case where, yeah,
Well, we're all the time having trees and we're on power, you know, we've got all these situations and then it is a time of panic and
yeah,
if they've got a couple buttons they can push and we'll be there.
great.
I would program the Bremen direct line to the fire department.
Oh, sure.
Marion Township, Logan, and the sheriff department, so they could, but they'll just have to hand the phone off and keep
Right.
it charged,
Right.
and see if that helps,
Well, you can
helps
get
them
a,
communicate.
you can get a car charger, and so
Yeah.
just leave it.
It's not like my kids and they take off with it.
I was gonna say mine tends to get.
I can just walk away.
Your chargers walk away. This next issue is,
Did we agree?
Yes.
yes.
That's what we voted on.
We agree.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, you know, all the others.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a
Thanks,
note,
very
right?
short tonight.
This next issue, we have a member that lives in the reserve that is in and out. He's got his vehicles parked on club property. There's probably about 4 of them down there. I sent them a letter calling them that they had to remove them or we were going to tow them. They got the letter. I heard that, and they did move some. Then he and his wife got into a problem, and there was a protection order against him. He's back now. He's got all these vehicles back. We had called. I had Randall call Dogmeyer to have them vehicles towed, and he would do that. We even contacted contacted the attorney to see if it was okay. We called the sheriff's department, and they said to contact our attorney to see if that was okay to do, which he okayed that, called the towing company, Daltmeyer, and for some reason he didn't want to go remove those vehicles.
So it would be considered a trespassing issue, wouldn't it?
Exactly,
I don't know why the sheriff's department wouldn't follow
exactly.
that.
And so
It's not a civil matter, it's not a civil matter, it's a trespassing.
it is.
They should have responded to that.
And the problem is not just the fact that he has it parked, and besides that, they're delinquent anyway, so. We can't, yeah, we can't really find them and make it do any good. The issue is that he's parked in the way. And we had to drive down through the creek in order to get our mower back there to mow our property. Because he's parked, we put a spot through there so we can get to the other side of the creek, and he's parked in our spot. So how do you think?
I don't know the expense to a letter from an attorney is gonna do any more than create a piece of trespass.
Yeah, he's already getting them every month. I could call another towing company, see if they'll come get him. I could send him another letter. They were fairly agreeable when they were first started.
Yeah, I don't see why they'd wanna take that liability on it. That part makes perfectly good sense. I don't think any trucking companies would
This
want
guy
that.
runs a repo towing type
Yeah.
company, so it's probably
Several issues there.
we can try to call another towing company. If they won't come out for fear of confrontation, I mean, we could always have the sheriff come out there with him. But I think that stuff needs to be moved and it needs to be towed. And try to get another towing company.
Do you want me to send another letter?
I think we send him, you can send another letter and let's wait a couple weeks and then see if we can get another towing company in the meantime, that we'll go out there and remove them. You know, even if we gotta pay $140 to remove them, you know, so be it. You can't just leave them on property blocking our
Right, and
access.
that's what's happening.
Well, it's no different than somebody parking in the grass at the dam because there's no stop left. To me, it's basically the same issue.
Other than we've told
But in
them.
this case, they could move those and these are not being moved.
Right. Exactly.
You know, maybe another towing company won't even bother, you think they would come out and get them for the price of a tow. I don't know what
What are they gonna do with them?
well, they'll
They just
store them.
want them to.
They'll pay for the tow and then they'll charge him storage to come get them and.
Are they worth $50 a day for him to go and recover them if they sit there for a minute? I don't know what's sitting
Well, he's
there.
got 2 records back there.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff there.
Right down there. Got 2 records.
There's a lot of stuff there.
Why don't you drive down there and look at it?
Yeah.
Or walk.
You can drive to the gate. Or come, and I'll give you the opener. We're back there.
I can walk.
Okay.
Isn't that far?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Just walk down the hill.
Well, you can get there the other way around. Well, no, you can't do that either. Okay. Okay, all right. Well, okay. Well, so I'll send him another letter.
Let's give him a E15 deadline. If he doesn't move them, we'll contact another towing company. I still think we need to call the sheriff and say, we want to file a trespassing claim charge against these vehicles that are illegally parked on our property. I think they'd have to come out then.
Okay.
I wouldn't ask him if we can tow them, I'd just say, we want to charge.
Yeah, I would just make
It's
the
a trespassing.
trespassing call.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Hocking County Sheriff's very familiar with him.
Yes.
Because they've hauled him to jail several times.
They don't know where to go.
They certainly do.
So,
Okay. This next item has been a huge topic of conversation here today, this week, is the lake level deal call. A lot of the members are complaining about the level so low. As you remember, a couple years ago, we had complaints that the water was too high, and that it wasn't going down quick enough. It lowers itself because of the sinkholes. So please keep that in mind.
Sinkholes in the dam or just?
Sinkholes in the dam.
No, not the dam.
None of the dam.
No,
In the lake.
they're around, most of them are on the east side, there is some on the west side. And,
If I can borrow from it, because I actually read the report again this afternoon. There's seepage that was determined in 1963.
Yeah.
That occurred on the left side of the dam, if you're looking at the dam. It has been there ever since it was built.
Right.
In 63. ODNR has inspected the dam on a regular basis. The last one was in 2016, so it's 4 years old. The dam's getting older, ultimately need to be fixed. At the same time, it's a class 2 dam. There's nobody downstream that's in harm's way per se, so you have it's a little bit easier for you to deal with it. For a class 1 dam like the big dam, you have to be able to handle the probable maximum flood. For a class 2 dam, it's only 50%. So the height of the dam is sufficient to handle what it is. But there are issues, and as Randy said, as the water is lower, there's less seepage to the side. When the water is higher, there's more seepage. And so the dam was fluctuating quite a bit. It was at a fairly high level to correspond to Randy's comment at a certain point. And so the idea is that we could actually there's a spillway where basically a rack where the water goes over and it sets the level of the lake. We are free to set that where we want. ODNR is fine with us either way. And so the decision was made 2.5 years ago, I think, to actually cut that pipe down. And so the water level, the proximal or the maximal water level would be defined by where that was. And so that was done. Now we've had a very, very dry summer and the water's lower.
Yeah.
And people who were there were saying, well, if the water had been higher in the spring, the water level in the lake would have been higher and it would have dropped less at this point. As Randy said, part of the definition is how much goes over this spillway, and the other piece is the sinkholes.
Yeah.
And with a lower water level, you have less sinkhole action, but there is. If you go down there and you look at that dam and you walk down on the left side of it down below, there's a stream where the water actually flows out. We've dyed it. We put dye in it. And we know where it's coming from. It's not coming through the dam. It's coming from what they call the groins of the dam, which are the side pieces. And that's where the water, and it's been doing that since 50 years ago.
Yeah, and they attempted to fix it. They spent like, what was it, $165,000 or something like that to fix it, and it didn't fix it.
Yeah, it did.
But, so the members want the pipe put back up there, put back on, which is not really going to help other than keep it from draining quicker.
It'll only help when there's sufficient
Exactly.
rainfall to keep it at that level.
You're right, right.
So when you start in the spring, the water level will be higher.
Yeah.
And as the summer goes on, if you have a dry summer, it will drop.
Right.
If you have a higher set point, it's got further to drop before it becomes a problem.
So we really didn't have to deal with this the last 2 years because we had wet summers. We had a lot wetter summer, so that lake stayed full. So I think it's the first real normal summer we've had that's drier and hotter. So it is down. I mean,
Yeah.
But it went down a foot when we dropped that pipe down, but it still was an acceptable level now. You're seeing the signs of it being lower.
It's 6 inches below the principal right now. The
Yeah, so
level.
we're not drinking.
No, it hasn't drained for quite some time. It's come through the
So
groin.
what is the long-term damage to the places that it's going
Well,
through? If we raise, and we get another wet year and have a massive amount of water flowing off like we would have last year at a higher level? Are we gonna get into, is it gonna increase the problem we have?
The issue is that we had a couple members come to us and say that they wanted to cut off because they were afraid it was going to do damage to their docks.
It was so high those 2 years.
Right.
Or the previous
I
years.
understand that piece. I'm asking though, if we would raise it, I don't know if a foot was cut off, if we raised it 6 inches in a hypothetical situation, is it gonna add to the deterioration of these sinkholes and water running out to the point where it gets a lot worse?
Doesn't seem to. We monitor those sinkholes because we were told to by ODNR to see if there's any discoloration, and there never has been, regardless of rainfall. which means that it's not pulling anything out, it's not eroding, it's not pulling anything out. So basically, it's not gonna hurt to raise that level. I mean, it will, just like Jerry said.
Negative to raising that pipe up and try to catch early spring rains and maybe pull it a little higher level. If there's not, I don't see why we couldn't do that.
Well, the other issue is also though, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I talked to Rick about this, that if we had left it where it was, ODNR was going to have us put in a siphon drain. We were going to have to level the crest, and we were going to have to improve the principal or the emergency spillway.
Well, that's why I was wondering, how much did we take off?
Took about a foot.
So we took a foot and we had 6 inches.
Again, we ultimately have to do those things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's the long-term plan of what we have to do. They were not asking us to do that in the short run, because the dam itself did maintain the 50%. Where it was at, they did the calculations, and it was able to maintain the 50%. We ultimately will have to, like you said, deal with those other issues where there was, and feel free to read the report again. Where we were at in 2016 was we had needed maintenance issues. We needed to worry about this in the long term, but in the short run, you know, we were okay. We were not in violation at that point as long as we did proper maintenance. Dropping the low level was fine because it didn't, you know, it reduced the problem. Because I was really concerned when we met that day that they were going to come back and say that we need to do this right now. That after they redid the meteorological tables and they redid the calculations for the proximal maximal flood, they found that what we have currently was sufficient for a 50%. It's on page 5 of the report. Yeah. I mean, I literally just read it an hour ago, or 2 hours ago. So that's where it is. Again, I'll send it to the rest of you. You can look at it as well. So, you know, we've got problems there long term. We have to keep worrying about the issues that we have, but the actual level that we have, the optimal level is, you know, we can put it back up, we can take it back down, and I think with ODNR it was fun. That's my.
So we don't have a regulatory mandate from them that said you had to cut a foot off.
I will send you the report, but my reading of it, Steve, was no.
Right.
So we
I
actually
actually talked
find
to,
a happy medium on that.
I talked to Lindsay this afternoon, and she was gonna look at it too. Okay. She was, you know, she's working from home, but Lindsay Walker is the woman who is our engineer, the PE, the civil engineer who's done all of our dam stuff. Okay. And she's very, very, very competent, very, very good. So she was gonna look at it as well.
I mean, how hard would it be to put 6 inches back on top of that? I mean, you just
Well,
cut it off
basically,
and
you have to take the diverter, cut the diverter off, and then
weld and
re-weld back on there. The question is, how much? You know, I don't know how much. Good question. Yeah.
Okay, so we had 2 members concerned it was too high.
Yeah.
And it had been high those springs.
Sure.
Those springs.
Yeah, it was flooding out of the pond.
It's coming up into like where the boat, the
Mm-hmm.
kayaks are. And,
No, it was a mess, I remember
yeah.
that. But
So, yeah, I know. We took it down to try to alleviate that, but then we get dry and it gets down farther. I don't know if we come back 6 inches.
I like meeting it in the middle if it's not too expensive to do and give it a shot.
So basically, what you want to do is just cut in half what we cut off and put it back on there.
Can I recommend that I send it out to everybody to read? You read it, I read it, take a reread of it, and then questions like that, then we refer those to Lindsay.
Okay.
And see what she has to offer.
If they're really, yeah, like, is there any real problem? We put 6
Yeah.
inches back on, bring it back,
And
the real level of the lake, 6 inches back.
she was obviously the MVP of our big dam project.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Does this incur a charge for us? For professional opinion?
of course.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive, but, you know, I don't know.
I don't know what expensive is.
Problem is you don't want to do something and,
I don't have a PE after my name.
problem is we do something, we get ourselves in a situation.
Oh,
with the-
Well, that's why I was looking
ODNR.
for an official mandate, something that they wrote us up for and said we must remove 12 inches. If there's not, then there is no recourse for them to come back to us on that. unless there's something small print on that report, which I believe you've looked at.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I think the bigger question, Steve, is that we have members who have asked us to consider this and look at it, and I think that's,
And that's exactly what we,
I think, yeah, this isn't,
it's not raining, so the lake's not gonna come up.
this isn't Randy and me coming out. We have members who've come to us, and several of them, and said, why we did this, and on, we're unhappy now, so.
Well, I remember this same discussion not too many months ago.
All right, let's get the agenda, we'll put it back on the next agenda.
I'll send that out to you all tonight.
Everyone can read it, and maybe we can go from there. If it's doable, put a 6-inch pipe back on there and re-extend that up a little bit. It is pretty low. I mean, coming off the dock, there's not much water there anymore.
Yeah.
We can keep the spring down 6 inches from where it originally was, but still try to keep a little more water in there. Just in a real dry summer, it's still not gonna matter.
Right, you're right.
My time is a little time.
Okay.
All right, assessment increase planning. So, one of the documents you should have in front of you is kind of a draft of some information I put together today. Not sure, do you have that? Or is I got extra copies? So that's a hand. What I tried to do is I just did the year 1 through 5. Basically at the top, it's, how much money, how much additional funds will the assessment increase bring in after the vote, and then try to say, okay, what are we going to spend that on? And this is obviously open for a lot of discussion, but ultimately I'd like to put this into a PowerPoint, since Rex made us all look bad by not using PowerPoints.
I've got mine done.
And
That's the only way I roll, guys.
I get it.
It's called a crutch.
And so that we can put this, I can do, I'm going to be doing a video on this very thing. It's like, okay, the big question is, what are you going to do with our dollars when we get them? And so, year 1 is pretty simple. 4 months of the increase will bring in an additional $95,000. Year 2, it's a staggered number, but we're bringing about $340,000. So what I did was the 101, basically I took what our current unfunded amounts were, backed out the 95, backed out an estimate for cash flow for the back half of 2020, and said we still need 101,000 of that first year funds. Then I've got a market adjustment for our employees. So one of the big issues, we just saw the issue with security is, the market has moved faster than what our pay rates are to hire security, to keep our hire maintenance and office staff. And, I've put together a schedule we'll go through briefly here, and I'm not married to these numbers, but trying to be able to hire good security maintenance guys is difficult in this market, because people are pushing them away, or they're getting offers for more money, and we're left shorthanded, struggling to find good people. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but I did put, you'll see the year 2 number is higher than the rest of the years, and that number carries forward. Even if you make a market adjustment, that continues on for the next 5 years. Year 2, which actually that should be part of this year, is we're going to have to pay, hypothetically, pay 2 general managers for 2 months, and Randy's last couple of months, because he's going to be training the new person we hire. So I tried to factor that in. That actually should go in year 1. I'll have to move that over. Just thought about that. That's it, actually in this year. And then, also it's got in that number is returning our seasonal help. So as part of the budget cuts last year, we did not hire 3 seasonal helpers. I'm sure maintenance would love to get those guys back on, and I would too. Our golf committee's done a great job pitching in on weed eating on the course and doing a little bit of maintenance here. But you notice around the club that not as much weed eating gets done and things just get put off, just to help try to keep the course in decent shape. But they need that seasonal help back. They need to be able to maintain our facilities and maintain our grounds. I did put in here $100,000 placeholder as what, to operate our lodge and our clubhouse back to full steam. I've heard that numerous members have approached me and just said, we got to get this lodge back up, and it's our food service back up, and this is a place where this is why we bought it here. This helps our property values to have this facility. So, is that $100,000 written in stone? No, I'd hope we could beat that and, twofold, but do better than that. But we've got to understand it's an amenity. It's going to cost us to have it. Just like Lancaster Country Club. I mean, they know that's a cost they got to bear for their members. I put $8,000 in there for recycling, and then $53,000 for roads, additional ditch repair, erosion control. I mean, we've got to continue to take money out of operations to help us keep our, just a $6 million road structure in line. That's hugely important. The subsequent years, I basically took our year 3, 4, and 5 and took our current budget and stressed them by just increasing payroll 3%. So we still know we need some of that additional assessments in year 3, 4, and 5 just to continue to fund our capital depreciation and our employee insurance fund to the proper levels. And so, year 1 and 2, we could continue to maintain some level, but we would start falling. We're just basically going to start falling behind, even with the lodge. If we kept the lodge closed like we did in this budget, we would still start falling behind at some point. We're basically kind of treading water. Going forward, we're going to just fall further behind. And if you see the depreciation listing, and that's not our equipment listing, that's not an option. So basically projected that out every year for the next 5 years. If you take a look at the help, the market wage increase and bringing back seasonal help, giving the employees, I just made some across the board assumptions based on the employees, giving some pay, a lot of it more so geared toward the newer employees, trying to get people hired in at an attractive rate that makes them want to come take a job in security or maintenance, but also doing kind of a market study a little bit on what are we paying our maintenance guys compared to what the county get versus what can they go to local trucking company for and get paid, so that we can keep our good talent here. We've got some great maintenance guys that do a lot of stuff, and I want to keep them, and a great office staff that does a lot of good stuff for us. So I appreciate you guys looking at this and giving me any feedback, like, hey, you're way off track with those numbers or what. So
Jim, just checking. I think I got it. But so you're taking the capital fund and the depreciation fund, and each year you're taking your proposed expenditure off of the depreciation, and that's how much you're having to feed back in.
No, I didn't even go to that level. I just took the budget, I stressed it, I knew what we had done. I don't know, it was a few months ago when we increased the depreciation capital allocations. We did kind of I don't remember, we kind of went through an exercise of, what do we need to have in that fund, and then what do we need to put into that fund to be able to manage this beast.
Yeah.
And I basically took those numbers that we're funding now, I think it's 16.7 for depreciation and 10% of assessments for capital, and said, okay, let's stress the budget and see where we're short. And you can see, you clean up the old stuff, then you start year 3, 4, and 5, you start stressing it out. And that was only just stressing payroll, not really stressing things like fuel goes back up. I mean, we're paying $2.27 for diesel, and it's not gonna last. I'd hope it would, but
And
realistic, it's not.
the other thing with the list there that we have, it really stresses the equipment and other things like that, but this building here, stuff happens.
Yes.
And that is not included, I mean, there's some things including that, but if there's just, an issue here within this building.
I looked at the roof the other day. We got me thinking about the roof.
Yes, sir. Good
I
one.
get it.
And the chillers go, it's just a bunch of plumbing, it's really.
Cheaper to maintain what you got and replace it.
60 years ago, it was not built to code. And every time we open a can of worms, we find worms.
So I think this is a good way of doing it, Jim, because we're somewhat specific of what's coming up, but we're not so specific that we're either tying ourselves down or we're frustrating members, either way. And I just want to put this on the record, that the money going to raises for the employees is extremely important, and we need to take care of our people. And so that's the most important part about all this.
Yeah, and you'll see that they are actually put in what I consider my order of preference is we got to fund our capital and depreciation accounts. I mean, we have to have a strong capital accounts. We just talked about the dam. If the DNR comes back and says, well, time is now, you gotta make the repairs like you, well, we have to have funds to do that. And I don't wanna go back to members and say, sorry, we have more money for that. We're not, no. That's what we'll do, use our capital or fund for to make those necessary repairs to keep our lakes. And we don't, there's other things that come up that we have to do to take care of. So, by law, we have to have these funds. It doesn't specify what those need to be. We determine what we feel is safe to keep this club safe, financially safe. And, that's number two. Then I got market adjustment and seasonal help. I mean, trying to have enough security guards so we have lake patrol to keep our lakes safe. I don't want to see somebody hurt out there. And having this summer help so that our maintenance guys can focus on keeping our equipment up to date, up running, and, the mowing and the bigger road repair so that they got seasonal help to help Elmer on the golf course and keep it looking nice. So, then lodging, clubhouse, recycling, and roads and ditches isn't last. It's just, it was my plug. So I'm not lying. It's a plug. It's a plug, but it obviously you see it going up in some of the later years to help your plan be successful.
Or capital or whatever. Yep.
So I agree. The employee raises, or not raises, it's a market adjustment to get people to a marketable rate so we continue to attract good talent.
Keep good health.
Stevie, any comments?
No, I think that approach is spot on. Again, you and I have discussed, the thing, it's a budgeted amount, it's not a guarantee for every employee to get a flat line $3 an hour raise or something like this. But it's time that we start compensating these employees so we keep it maintained correctly.
Yes. I mean, yeah, and it's not meant to
when
be.
we need it. That way
Everyone's going to get this certain amount. It's more so what's market and what they're making. But I want to make sure we keep our good employees and we
want people to have to
attract good. Yeah, we attract good employees. So Randy's job's a little easier here the last 5 months of trying to keep.
I got a feeling it's going to be easier for Andy anyways.
But other than that, and that helps the new general manager committee. He's not coming in trying to hire security guards at what we've been paying here lately.
So I'll go a step further, and I think this is a really wise investment in the community. This is no surprise to anybody. I've been saying that for quite a while. This is the third year we've done this. I think this is really good on all levels. It returns us to being able to have some contingency funds, some balances that if we get into a problem we can have. It allows us to address compensation with people, and it also takes into full account the expenses that we have. And plus, I think the other thing that's even more important is that we got a lot of people out there who really want us to do this well. They don't want to come here. They don't want this to be a bare bones place where we're always scraping all the time to do things. So Jim, I applaud your effort. I applaud Mary Beth's effort, Rex, all you people who are doing everything. I can't speak more strongly about it than that. So let's go forward. I think we got a good plan. I'm fully on board. Thank you.
So I'll send this back out on a couple more adjustments. It'll be the basis for my next video as well as the depreciation. I'm going to talk a lot about that. Why do we need these big reserves, and hopefully get everything on the web. These two documents on our website so members can access those and ask questions in subsequent weeks. So I probably will not post the market rate increases, but we'll have the totals there. I don't want people getting caught up of, hey, we're giving everybody X. That's not the point. The point is we got a pool of money that we can allocate to get people to marketable rate. So, any other questions on that?
Excellent work.
Okay. Let's move on the public agenda. We have one executive item to discuss is approve the 2020 road plan. I think we've all seen it. I've seen it in the video. I've seen it a few times, but we've never actually approved that. So I need for you to make a motion that way.
I'll make the motion that we accept Rex's plan as written.
Rex is seconds.
Out there for a minute, thank you.
All in favor? No, we're good. That's an awesome plan. I think you did a great job on the video. I think everyone really liked it. I think that's the kind of information we need to share with membership. So I will just say publicly, I need to reach out to the management committee candidates. We've just been kind of swamped with this assessment increase. I apologize to them. I will reach out to them either the next meeting or the second meeting in August. We will do our interviews and make that decision. Just trying to be full on getting this assessment information to our members that we owe them. So I'll reach out to them this week and let them know. I'm sorry, we're not dragging our feet, but we're just trying to be all in on this assessment increase. And so, anybody else have anything else publicly?
No, sir.
Okay.
Did you come to address us on something, sir?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, first off, let me say, appreciate all the work that you guys have done. I'm 18 years on Eagle Claw. I didn't really notice the water being down, honestly. I
didn't get your name.
Dave Montgomery. Appreciate the work you do. I know you guys make big money to be on this committee, so
Yeah.
no, I sit on a couple of nonprofits myself, so I get it. It's a thankless work. I would, I came here just to see what you guys were going to do with the water level, but thinking about what I would say if you asked me, I will say there's an issue on Eagle Claw so I'm a firefighter by trade, so I work in the tragedy business, and I don't want to stir a bunch of problems, but I'm going to point something out. So when you build a double-decker dock and you put it's 15 by 15 or so, and you put 15 impaired adults on it, and you disconnect it from the mooring. I think that the Roman bank read the rules today, but it's defined as a wharf, really. And you disconnect it and you put a motor on it, it's now watercraft. And I would argue that it's a watercraft, and all the rules subject to watercraft should be involved in that. It's going to be a tragedy at some point. It's going to tip over, and there's going to be a lot of impaired people in the water struggling for their lives. I would like to see somebody take a position on that to say, look, if you want to have a watercraft, have a watercraft. If you want to have a wharf, have a wharf. I don't want to stir it up. I don't want to be retaliated against. I don't need the aggravation. But it's not really supposed to be a watercraft. It's supposed to be a dock to hook up to and to sit on and enjoy, but I don't need that party at the other end coming down to my end every night. So, and I just don't think, if you want to have a boat, have a boat. And I'm not no fun police, but I do think we should enforce the rules as they're written. So, but I also have no complaints at all about how it's been managed and what you guys do, and I appreciate all the work you do. I mean, honestly. And I've worked with Randy, and he's been fantastic with me. I put an addition to my house, no problems, and really just, it took too long, but you guys were good to me. So, but no, I appreciate all the work you do. I'd like you guys to address it at some point.
Thank you.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
Sir, thank you. Thank you.
It's the first time I heard about it. I'm with you. That's a pretty big safety concern.
Thank you, you guys.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having by. I know, thanks, guys.
Any other questions?
No, you guys,
Okay.
first meeting I've been to in 18 years, so. Thanks, fellas.
We're looking- stay away.